Hello guys, and I agree with dictator Putin. We do need a huge demilitarized buffering zone between Russia and Ukraine, but on Russian territory. And that is actually a common practice. After the aggressor is defeated, a big part of its territory on the border with the country it attacked is often turned into buffering demilitarized zone to prevent further attacks and, of course, to educate its zombified population how not to do in future. And we may see some signs of this time coming as Putin does not have control of Kursk and Belgorod border. These are two Russian regions which are open now for Russian Volunteer Corps, Freedom of Russia Legion, and whoever wants to enter them, ruining the image of the really strong country with really strong borders. You see, we cross them easily. And there are explosions, destructions on military objects all around Russia as war returns back home. So let's discuss today the idea of the buffering zone between Russia and Ukraine, how we see it, and all of our allies, and what Putin does now to these regions that border with Russia, to the regions that he cannot take but he hates because of his weakness and because he is losing the war. My name is Anna, and I vlog daily from Ukraine since the start of the brutal Russian invasion. So if you're new to the channel, you support Ukraine, please subscribe and help us fight against Russian propaganda and fake news. And my longtime friends, check your subscription status and hit notification button. Of course, only crazy ideas come out of Russian Federation, Putin, Medvedev and co. And they discussed buffering zone on Russian terms, seeing it as 70-100 kilometer zone in Ukraine on the border with Russia. It may seem like another act of aggression, but in reality, this is a very vivid symptom of Russian weakness. They realize that they cannot take any more of Ukrainian territory. Plan A, Blitzkrieg, failed, and now they moved to, I don't know, it's not even BCD, it's actually Z, the last letter of the alphabet plan, according to which they simply want to erase the territory, people, everything on the border with Russia. They cannot take it, but they shell it constantly. This actually reminds us of many more Russian war crimes that they commit, not being able to get the support of the population on temporarily occupied territories, not being able to get them with successful military tactics. They start simply burning, ruining them village by village. But Ukrainian armed forces prevent them from that. We do need your support to have more weapons and tools to stop this continuous one really big brutal war crime and to start building buffering zone on Russian territory. War is returning back to Russia, and I don't know why global media do not speak about that. I understand there is censorship, propaganda inside Russia, but no one is speaking about this strategy of Ukrainian military to attack Russian oil refineries, and this already causes lots of shortages and problems both for Russian economy and for Russian front lines. Also, we do not speak about non-existing actually border now of Russian Federation in Kursk and Belgorod. The border is open for Russian military who want to fight against Putin, who come from Ukraine, who come from Freedom of Russia Legion, Siberian Battalion, Russian Volunteer Corps. They easily cross this border, perform special military operations, like real special military operations on the territory of these Russian regions, and return back to Ukraine. A kind reminder, Belgorod and Kursk region border with Sumy and Chernihiv region of Ukraine. If you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity and to see Russia defeated. And actually, we hear a lot about unsuccessful air raid defense in these regions. We see about the evacuation of people. We can read Russian publics of these regions, and we realize it is war in Belgorod and Kursk. It is war. And now war is on Russian territory. We have to speak about that because this is the sign of Russia losing, of Russia being weak. This is a sign that we can finish this evil regime if we continue our united joint efforts. This is super important. And of course, then we can create a buffering zone while we will be working on demilitarization and denazification of Russia. Because Russia is the country that needs it all badly. And the idea of the buffering zone given by Putin today in this media world is correct, but the choice of the location is wrong. And once again, what he does now with his soldiers on the bordering with Ukraine regions is an example of a war crime because they target maternity houses, schools, kindergartens. They simply try to erase every tree. This is also an example of ecocide. And what we do in Kursk and Belgorod, we target military objects, we destroy oil refineries, and we simply remind Russian military who use these regions as their platform to leave it. And this is another argument why we need buffering zone, but once again on the territory of Russia. Honestly, I think all Russia up to Kremlin is a big buffering zone of normality, adequacy, and all of that. Let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about the idea of any buffering zone in any corner of the world? Do you feel it's normal, democratic, or is it something wrong? But a kind reminder from an experienced Ukrainian, you cannot be very tolerant and very kind with invaders who came to kill you, and they crossed your border, they came on your territory, and they continuously destroy your infrastructure and your people, which is the worst. And what they do on this temporarily occupied territories when they try to mobilize people to Russian army against their will, when they do not let children to go to school if their parents do not take Russian passports. These are more and more acts of what YouTube is so much afraid of. Various war crimes against a particular ethnic group. You all know the definition of that. Anyway, let's create this buffering zone in Kremlin. Thank you for your support. Thank you for buying me coffees and becoming my patrons. That's an honor to have you in my life and to be able to film more. Remember to join me on Instagram, X, and Threads and our Discord community. And yes, we plan our live stream this Saturday, 9 p.m. Kyiv time. In your comments below, you may give me the ideas for the topic. And remember to check our beautiful merch shop with lots of items that work well as conversation starters and reminders about Ukraine. And they are simply very stylish. You know, spring is coming, new t-shirts needed, and let them be Ukrainian t-shirts. And once again, thank you for being friends, and Slava Ukraini!